morning. Today is Thursday, April 30th. We are here for a work session. As always, we will start with the pledge. Jody, can you please take the lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As most of you are aware, as a result of the COVID-19, Town Hall is closed to the public, and we are conducting this meeting with our council members and meeting participants, either sitting 6 feet apart via Zoom or through teleconferencing. It is also being streamed on Channel 22. I'm going to take a moment and make a few statements, and following me will be our chief, who will provide you with an upgrade concerning COVID and the Riverhead town. Recently, we lost the Riverhead icon to COVID-19, Ray Pickersgill. We want to express our heartfelt sympathies to his family and to his many friends. Let's pause for a moment of silence for all the COVID victims. Thank you. On behalf of myself and the entire town board, we also like to salute our frontline heroes. Heroes are not born, they are made. Surely the heroism displayed by our hospital staff, headed by President Mitchell, along with the Riverhead Ambulance Corps, our police department, and other frontline workers under this unprecedented invisible health war, profoundly displays undaunted courage and resilience in fighting for the most vulnerable. Naming the street in front of the Peconic Bay Medical Center as suggested is the least we can do. We and the entire board salute you, our heroes. Know that we are currently fighting every single day for federal state aid and aid from the COVID-19 stimulus bill. Since April 9th, all county supervisors and mayors, along with our congressmen, have fought to change the Federal Reserve Board Act, providing assistance to counties with less than 200 million population. That included Long Island. It was a fierce fight from town to state, Albany, and all the way to the White House. I am pleased to announce on Monday, we won the fierce battle. The threshold was lowered, and Long Island municipalities will have the ability to borrow from the lending program. At the moment, every Suffolk town is reviewing their budget to assess their financial standing. Now more than ever, we need to ensure this crisis does not adversely affect our financial standing or lower our bond rating. We need to adjust our current budget to and cut for projected spending, planned purchases, and upgrades. We also need to lower our projection of fines, to understand our projections of fines, building permits, and miscellaneous income to anticipate loss of revenue due to COVID-19. Therefore, we need to possibly adjust the new budget as soon as possible, and Bill, our accountant, will give us some insight to that effect. Our town remains closed and open for essential services only. At the moment, the emergency response team is attending endless conferences and reporting on mostly related operations mostly related to our emergency operation. It will continue to do so until the emergency declaration is lifted. Our police chief has shown his exemplary and unending ability to serve as our coordinator for our emergency operations, and I thank you, Chief, for your professionalism. Our primary concern at the moment is to secure our town from the health war we face, work in creating legislation to secure funding, work on limiting exposure and fatalities, assist those in need, provide essential services, developing plans for reopening, and documenting emergency operations as required by FEMA. We have received some guidance from the White House, the governor, and the county executive this week concerning opening the economy. Soon we will see 3 faces in action. However, we need to be very careful and work on limiting the chance of resurgence. Unfortunately, at the present time, it appears that Long Island will lag behind the rest of the country and state, since New York has become the epicenter of the COVID-19 rage. Towards the end of May, the governor has implemented a phased plan to reopen New York. Phase 1 will include the much-needed construction and manufacturing. Phase 2 will relate to certain industries based on priority and their risk level. Phase 3 is directed towards businesses who are considered at higher risk of contamination. Please note there is a tremendous amount of information concerning COVID-19 concerning support services on our website, the county website, and the DEC website. We continue to provide service to our seniors, veterans, and the medically fragile. Lastly, this afternoon, some of our soup kitchens and pantries will be stocked from a generous donation from the Sucker Family Foundation, and we hope more will follow. On behalf of myself and the entire town board, we are aware of this, of our unsettling and unpredictable stage in all of our lives. Many of your concerns have passed through each and every one of our minds over and over again. We can get to the recovery stage of these trying times. We are not there yet. We will be working together with the goal of returning to the new normal. Chief,
I'm gonna get Tim back on the phone.
can you?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning,
Good morning, Chief.
and I think I bring some good news. I think we're in better shape now today than we were at our last meeting, so things are looking better. Town Hall remains closed through May 15th. It's closed to the public. Only emergencies are being handled at this time within the town. Just to go over some numbers, we have 433 positive cases in the town this morning. That gives us 13 residents per 1,000 people have tested positive for COVID-19. The good news, that number we haven't seen come down over the whole time we've been tracking it. It just keeps increasing. I think the better news is to look at the hospitalizations, which are down to 29 as of yesterday with COVID-19. And that was from a high of 88 in the middle of April, so that's way down, and a good sign. If there's three things to remember out of my whole little speech here, and that is wash your hands, stay away from others, that's 6 feet away from others, and if you can't do that, make sure you wear a mask. That is a sure way to combat this virus. Just to end up, stay positive. We will get through this together. If you have any questions or concern during this time, you can call 727-3200. That's the information desk up front from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. and that's Monday through Friday. We have a Spanish-speaking officer staffing that in the morning, and then it's just English-speaking after that. And as always, in case of emergency, dial 911.
Great, thank you, Chief.
Can I
Does any board members want to make any statements? We'll do that, and then we're going to move on to resolutions.
Okay, great. So I would just implore Chief and Supervisor on your daily conference calls, if you could, I know that construction and manufacturing are phase 1 of coming out of this. I think that churches and places of worship, maintaining separation distance, especially when their loved ones are in hospitals and they can't be by their sides, that they need a place to go where they can pray and they can, practice their religion and their faith. I think that's number 1. I mean, if we can allow Home Depot to be open and we can't allow construction to continue, and we can allow, which is killing all of our local suppliers, like Riverhead Building Supply, 84 Lumber, you know, Florence, all of our local suppliers are hurting because everybody's going to Home Depot to get their stuff and they're doing the construction projects anyway. I mean, construction projects can go on, our building department can do inspections with separation distances, and, you know, there's a lot of things that we could be doing so that we don't get hit when the economy does open up and we're inundated with trucks and, you know, limited supplies because they're all getting eaten up, as we saw with the hand sanitizers and the disinfectants. So I would just hope that, and I've been reached out to by priests and by other leaders of worship, that, you know, people need their faith, and it is a constitutional right in the First Amendment to be able to practice their religion. So as long as they are maintaining separation distances, I hope that you can work with the other townships and the governor to allow people to go back to their places of worship so that they can at least pray when they can't be with their loved ones who are sick in the hospitals.
And I fully understand what you're saying. Yesterday, the county executive formed, reopened Suffolk counties, and he tapped certain leaders and individuals, and I was one of those individuals, and that will be an issue that we will be working on, and thank you for enhancing that, because we are going, that's very important. People under these trying times need, exactly what you said, a place to, you know, to get some type of comfort.
Thank you,
Well
Supervisor.
taken, thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to add, I think we're almost there, so that should be happening soon, especially with construction. I think within the next 2 weeks to a month, something's gonna change on that front. Also, I know many of the local churches are open to the public for prayer.
As long as they
Right.
practice
No, right,
separation
right.
privately, yes.
Right.
You know, the thing-
And we
The
are.
3 rules, right, stay away from others by 6 feet.
Distancing, right, Chief?
Right.
That's his number one word.
Right.
And that is a consideration, and we are also gonna follow the White House plan. There is a plan, I believe you can find it on the net, opening up businesses. It's gonna be a 3-phase plan, and everything will be under consideration,
So you're saying the churches are open now for prayer?
most.
I know one that's open for prayer,
Yeah,
Okay,
some of them are.
I just wanna clarify, cause you just
and
said.
I think you know which one that is.
Okay.
Waiting
I-
river somewhere.
But I think that the,
No, actually St. Isidore's is open
Oh,
for prayer.
But I think that the governor, if the governor says that these places can be open for prayer, then the diocese will open up all the dioceses so that they can go in and pray.
Duly noted.
It's up to the diocese. We can't tell people
Right, but,
in the street that you must or can't, you can under an emergency
Mhm.
declaration, but as far as, most of the, stipulations that are gonna be in these phases are gonna be on a voluntary basis.
right, but if the governor opens up places of worship,
Mhm.
then all the
They
places
should
of
follow.
worship can open up.
Sure.
It's not just individuals or individual churches realizing the need of their community and opening up to be
Right.
there for them.
Okay.
And
Well-
it's actually been quite nice because so many of the churches have had online services.
Services.
And I
Yeah.
know that everybody, this is a time when people really need their faith, so that's been very nice. I wanted to
Okay,
make a couple
Catherine?
announcements, if that's okay. First of all, we got an email last night that they're going to be doing something, they're going to be giving, as an act of kindness, at Tanger, the Spirit's Promise is going to be giving out hay for horses, and that's Tuesday from 12 to 3 at Tanger. Also, I wanted to mention, some of you, the board knows, because we got an email on April 3rd from Victoria Berger, and I think the community may have noticed that New York State DOT has been doing a lot of work over at the corner by the Historical Society. There's been construction going on there for several weeks. Victoria Berger from the Historical Society reached out to us because what was happening was there were 2 utility poles that were set to be installed right by the World War I monument, which of course is very important to our town. And there were we all had concerns about the utility poles going there for a couple of reasons. One, it was too close to the monument, and also the people at the Historical Society have talked about the traffic patterns there and how they have a lot of cars that drive up on the lawn because
So what was the,
they're having
end
trouble
result?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get to that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to tell people what it was about. Cars were having trouble navigating, that area. So what happened was, we met with the New York State DOT. the supervisor was not able to meet that morning because you were getting ready for a town board meeting. Al Prupsky came, we had a couple people from the Veterans Advisory that were there. And all of these points were made to the New York State DOT, and we got an email Monday that they are changing, they're not going to be putting the utility poles there, as a matter of respect to our town. And also, they're going to be adding some things to help with the traffic. They're going to be adding I just want to make sure I get it right. They're going to be putting some extra lines, and they're going to be adding edge pavement, marking an edge line and dashed lines to help motorists navigate and guide the intersection, and to eliminate motorists from pulling up on the lawn. So, anyway, I thought, the board should know what the resolution was, and that it all worked out, and thanks.
It was good.
Great job.
It's all good.
I was in
Good.
quarantine, or I would have been there.
Yeah.
I knew you were in quarantine, but you had great representatives
Well,
there.
voluntary quarantine.
Yes.
Well, no, actually, it was
It was
mandatory
mandatory? Oh,
quarantine
okay.
because we were with someone living in the same house that tested
Okay,
positive.
then, okay.
Well, and it was definitely helpful that we had people there from the Veterans Advisory, because we all spoke strongly on, what an important area that is for Riverhead.
It is.
Yes, good job.
And I just have one quick comment. I know a lot of people at this point already know about the tractor parade that went on. Continuing to thank and to celebrate our healthcare workers, but I want to give a special shout out to the chief, first of all, for helping to organize it. Long Island Farm Bureau, Rob Carpenter, did a great job organizing all the farm community and showing our town what a wonderfully vibrant farm community we still have here. And also to Andy Mitchell and all the help that he gave us. So thank you to everybody. That was a wonderful event.
Well, Jody and I were there, and I have to say, that was such a Riverhead thing. That was an amazing thing. There were well over 60 tractors, and as it said in the paper, the farming community has close ties to the hospital, because the hospital was actually started by some farmers. So it was just an amazing, cool thing, and Frank was actually driving one of the tractors.
So was Crupsy, wasn't he?
I had to
I saw
lend
him
Al
going-
one of my
I saw him
tractors.
going down Reeves Avenue, I was like.
And Frank's kids were in the tractors
He
too.
was,
Yeah.
Frank had a bigger tractor.
It was a very nice family event for the farmers to
Yes.
show their appreciation, so. it
And
was
the
very nice.
video is on the Riverhead Local, if anyone wants to see it.
It is.
Go tap onto the video and
Yep.
we can see it. And
Okay.
Tim,
Do you wanna mention, Riverhead Beverage is gonna be there today handing out water for the.
I'm gonna
seniors, so-
talk about the topic.
While we're still on the topic,
I
I did
will.
wanna
Thank
mention,
you.
we are so awed and amazed by our healthcare workers, but I wanna take a moment to thank all essential workers. I mean, there are just so many people that are coming in, from the custodians at the hospital to grocery store people, and I wanna take a moment to thank every essential worker that's working throughout this crisis.
And I also would like to acknowledge, while we are at the acknowledgement stage, the Gala Foods has been incredible towards us. They jump-started our senior delivery program. They have supplied bags to us. We've asked, due to the demand, to increase the amount of people that they will service on a given day. Twice they have upped the amount of deliveries. Today, with a generous foundation from the Sucker family, they have provided $10,000 to supply the food pantries and the soup kitchens. And again, we're gonna thank them for their generous foundation. And I got word today from Jody that Riverhead Beverage is also gonna be adding to the Sucker Foundation delivery. So it should be an event that's gonna take place after that. It's not open to the public. We will have the list of the pantries that are being stocked. Unfortunately, we couldn't accommodate every single pantry. It was the pantries who returned our phone calls when we coordinated this that are in it. And we have a list of everyone as of this moment. And when we do have further distributions, they'll be first online. And Tim, you still on with us, right?
We got him on Zoom now.
Oh, you're on Zoom.
Wait a minute, this is,
Great.
got a new beard.
Oh, look at this.
Beard and everything.
It's a homegrown mask.
It's a homegrown
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Are you ready for me?
Yes, you have the floor.
All right, good morning. For those that don't know me, my name is Jeff Murphy.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm in
Jeff,
charge of the
Jeff.
planning department.
I thought
Jeff?
it's confusing between
Yes,
Tim
we're,
and-
we're gonna give, Tim, and then, we'll move on to you, okay? Let's just hear Tim first.
Okay, very good.
Tim, you have it.
Tim, did you have anything you wanted to say?
You guys have covered everything very well. It's just what I want to say is everything that happens and has happened is what makes this town so special. It makes it dear to my heart, as I know it does everybody else's heart up there on the board. And the things that have happened have been tremendous. The work effort by not only the healthcare workers, but volunteers and people opening up their wallets. It's been so heartwarming and so good to see. And hopefully we're on the downside of this coming up, and we still have to be very cautious, but we're through the worst part, I do believe.
Great, and be safe.
You too.
And one more thing, if I can say, I don't wanna forget our 911 dispatchers, our public safety dispatchers, cause they are in the front line, they are the first person to get the call when there is an emergency, so I wanna thank our public safety dispatchers. I think that they are first responders and, should be recognized as such.
We did talk about the food, we were talking about the food distribution for today, and I don't think we've met since the last food distribution, which was a very coordinated effort on behalf of the entire board, the Chamber of Commerce, Island Harvest, the sheriffs, I can't even remember.
Police department.
The school district was a big help, which oh yeah, our highway department.
Police.
Our B&G department, and it was a huge success. We served, I think there were probably close to 300 cars. Our police department, yes, sorry, chief. There were about 300 cars and there were about 200 walk-ups, so we did serve a lot of people, and these teachers donated a lot of school supplies, so we gave out food and school supplies. It was an all-around success. Thank you to everybody.
And thank you, Frank, for coordinating the effort.
It was great. Everybody worked together towards a common goal. I liked it.
All right, so moving on, today we have, 2 discussion items. Jeff, can you, take the lead? Jeff, are you on?
Yes, everybody hear me now?
Okay, yes.
Unmuted.
I'm here.
Yep, we have you.
Good morning, everybody. You ready?
Yes.
All right, good morning, everyone. Jeff Murphy, I'm the Building and Planning Administrator. What that means is I'm in charge of the Building Department, the Planning Department, and the Fire Marshal's Office, for those out there listening and don't know me. During these trying times, we have been receiving a tremendous amount of phone calls and emails. While the Building Department itself is closed to the public, we are open and doing business 5 days a week, and that's the main message I want to get out to the community. We are working remotely. Each of my employees have laptops. We get emails, work emails at home. We also get our voicemail messages through our emails. So we have a brand new phone system, so that if you call us and get a voicemail message, we get that through our laptops at home and return that phone call with 1 business day. So we are working 5 days a week. The biggest ambiguity that we're seeing right now, number 1 questions we're getting is what is allowed to be constructed, what types of inspections are going on right now. And a lot of that is defined by the state, and the key word is essential. And that is defined by New York State. And certain businesses and uses are defined as being essential. Those uses and businesses are allowed to continue to operate, and or the construction of those uses are allowed to continue. Right now, we are accepting applications for building plans and planning board applications, zoning board applications, and I'll tell you how to do that in a moment. We are reviewing those plans and applications. Our inspectors are reviewing, picking up the files, and then taking them home with them. We're trying to limit the amount of public and staffing in the office right now out of abundance of safety for our employees. We are issuing permits, only those for essential uses though. We really don't want to see people starting new construction unless it's been defined as essential by the state. The number 1 question we're getting right now is what inspections are allowed right now. Right now, if you're doing brand new construction, for example, if you're going to construct a new single family house, you can go ahead and do that, as long as you have a valid building permit issued by, the department. For inspections, you can either we will do inspections on outside, for example, foundation inspections and framing inspections. We will absolutely do an inspection of those. If you, choose to, you can have a licensed architect or licensed engineer, certify. They can take pictures of the work that's been done, and as long as we have a certified, letter from either a licensed architect or engineer, we will accept that. If you want to deliver new applications to us, there are a number of ways of doing that. We now have a drop box in front of our building, and a lot of people are taking advantage of that. In some cases, the application is too big. They can either mail it to us or overnight it to us, or they can drop it off at the town hall across the street. We are open. I'm in the office at least 3 or 4 days a week. We have our clerical staff coming in, picking up applications and checks on at least a weekly basis. If anybody has any questions about anything that I have just said, they can give me a call. My number is 631-727-3200, and my direct extension is 239. They can also email me or any member of our staff. If you go to the town website, under the building department, the fire marshal office, or the planning department, you will see the contact information listed there. So we are open, and we're trying to help everybody out through trying times. It may take a little longer than normal, but we'll get through this.
Jeff, are you allowing the same architect that worked on the project to do the inspection?
Yes, they can certify that. They have to take pictures, take the measurements, submit those with us, along with a letter saying they did the inspection and witnessed it. We will, as long as it's stamped and signed and sealed by an architect, we will accept that.
So to clarify, it's the design professional that drew the plans, the architectural plans that were approved by the building department. That design professional is the one that can certify the construction, correct?
Yes, they have to certify that they actually witnessed it, and they not just they have to actually go to the site. We want pictures of it, and it's got to be signed and sealed that they actually witnessed it, and the measurements are precisely as what was drawn and submitted to us.
Right, but they just can't have any architect from anywhere come and do it. It has to be the design professional that drew the plans, because they're responsible for not only the design of the plan, but also to meet all state building codes, and that they're responsible for the inspections and the construction as per the plan that they drew. But they are not permitted to do electrical inspections. The electrical inspections have to be done through the building department, correct?
That is correct.
All right, Jeff,
And how long have we been accepting these inspections done in this way, Jeff?
We never stopped, with the only exception of, if it's something is not essential, then we ask people politely to please hold off on the work until this, state of emergency has passed us. But most people are kind of knew what the answer was before they asked it, and they've been really understanding, so it hasn't been a problem so far.
I'm saying going back, when did you start accepting these inspections done by the people working on the job?
Since the start of the first state of emergency, that's when we started doing it,
Sent us an email. He sent us an email.
but not before
Yeah, I
that.
saw that, but I didn't know it had started.
all right, Jeff, I just want to circle back. Some of the towns in Long Island, in an effort to stimulate construction jobs, when the restrictions are lifted, they are foregoing permit costs for homeowners, private properties, for people that want to build sheds, porches, decks, pools, fencing, retaining walls, or any similar projects. I know we had a brief conversation on that. The goal is to have permits in place and shovel-ready when the restrictions are lifted, and it also provide homeowners with small projects. Will provide them a break, and also you're gonna have construction people, supply in the businesses back, stimulating the economy, and I'm hoping that. How do you feel about that?
I'm absolutely in support of that. The other thing that we're doing, is, we're getting a lot of permits that are expiring right now, and through no fault of the homeowner, we're not gonna charge them for the renewal fee. That would be grossly unfair, so we're giving them a waiver on that. until all this is past us.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a discussion the board should have, because I asked the chief financial officer to give us an estimate as to what the anticipated revenues are that are being brought into the town, whether we're meeting our projected revenues, and whether there are any unanticipated expenses that we've incurred due to the COVID-19 event. And I really wanna see those numbers before, we eliminate building permit fees altogether. Maybe reducing the building permit fees by half, but I really wanna see those numbers before we make
Right.
a decision to eliminate any building permit fees for projects around homes. But I do agree with the renewals, only because it's with limited staff and with some of the people that work in the building department having tested positive, we're behind on inspections. So we need to, make sure that the houses that are under construction, that the homes are watertight, and those inspections still need to happen. So the homeowner can't be blamed for not getting the inspections and not closing out the permit within the required time. So I agree with the renewals, but when it comes to new construction, I think that we need to look at the budget and then figure out whether or not we are gonna be in trouble, because I know the school district is banging down the door, they want their money, and the special districts are banging down the door that they want their money, and we may have to fund that, especially with the deferment of property taxes coming into the town. We might have to go into fund balance to fund some of those expenses to the other townships and other unanticipated costs that we have coming up in the near future. And, hurricane season is on the way, so God forbid we should have another emergency. We need to make sure that we have enough money to outlay the money, in order to get reimbursed. Also, with property taxes, there's a lot of people that are not working right now. So it's great that we're deferring their property taxes until the end of July, if that's approved and the governor agrees to it. But even after July, those people may not have the money to pay their property taxes. And with the county operating at a deficit, we rely on the county come January 1, when people don't pay their taxes, to reimburse the town for all taxes that were not paid. If the county doesn't have that money, we're not gonna see that money. And we're gonna be operating and still expected to run, and we're gonna be busier than ever when this opens up. So, that is the time that I think that we should be looking at hiring outside people to help us out, rather than full-time people, and, just tightening the purse strings, because we don't know what the future holds.
All right,
I
Jody,
thought
thank,
the property taxes was the end of May.
they're deferred, and we may
End of
have
May, but
further
income
deferments.
taxes are the end of July, right?
Yeah, the grievance period.
The
So
property
Jody,
tax-
thank you for your remarks. I've been in contact constantly, almost on a daily basis, with Bill Rothar, and we have discussed everything you have mentioned, and he has provided, I believe you might have gotten a copy yesterday of possible deficit where we may face, and so we need to, the conversation has started, and Bill, can you come forward?
Where's he gonna sit?
Podium.
Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone finally, right? I do have some numbers. I'll send you guys some of this in writing after I leave today. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. We're not much different than the other towns on Long Island, especially, where we have some concerns about collecting revenues. One of the good things is we do collect our taxes, or about 80% of it. I understand that if the county can't make us whole, we may have an issue there. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. In looking over our numbers, in particular building and planning revenues, those are gonna be down, obviously, as we mentioned. Based on reports from last week, I'm estimating about $1 million shortfall. Our total general fund budget is about $50 million. So that's about 2% of our revenues. There's a bunch of other revenues that are guaranteed too. Some of it is state aid and things like that. But again, if the state's in a bad fiscal situation, we may have the same issue of collecting some of that. So we need to just keep an eye on that and see where the state's gonna be and what's happening with our property taxes. As far as the $1 million shortfall, I'm going to continue to run reports every Friday after we collect our money and see where we are with that and see how we're going and update the board. That $1 million, we do have a couple of ways, at least at first to start, that we do have budgeted vacant positions in the town. So if we just don't hire those budgeted vacant positions, we have about $400,000 in those positions that we can save. In addition, we have some equipment. We have equipment budget in the town that we don't necessarily have to purchase, so we have to decide how much of it is essential, how much of it isn't. And I'm estimating about another $400,000 that we can hold off on spending in equipment in 2020. So there we're almost at 800,000 or so of the $1 million. Then the rest of it's just going to be an austerity budget where even your normal, whether it's consultants that we have and any other type of discretionary spending, is just put on hold until we know where we are. I'm hoping that at least at this point, will fill that gap. But once again, we have to go through this on a weekly basis to see where we are, because things are going to change as we go along. Hopefully, the sooner we come out of this and everyone else starts working, there won't be too many delinquent taxes, and the county will also have money to make us whole on that. But we won't know that until, the next several weeks and time goes on.
And just be mindful that this does not include essential services. Obviously, things concerning an infrastructure failing because we don't have the funds. Your recommendation and our effort and the board's effort, there are going to be some exceptions to that.
So Bill, thank you.
And this is in line with many of the townships. If you read the newspapers lately, many towns are following suit. We meet we constantly meet with all the town supervisors. Actually, every day we meet with all the counties, and we have these kind of discussions. And we also meet with the East End Supervisors and Mayors Association, and these concerns are concerns across the board. And we need to take action, and collectively with the board, we will make some adjustments to the budget, and from now on, we need to move forward with this. Thank you.
So Bill, thanks for your report, and I'm glad that we're working on this. I think we definitely need to look at the budget line by line and figure out where we can save money. And are you saying we're not going to be doing new hires?
So there are some vacancies
Right.
that we budgeted for back in 19. We budgeted for in 20, or someone may have retired since the beginning of the year, or since we budgeted that position. Those vacancies are the ones that I'm including to save that $400,000.
And I would think that we'd look at, look at the part-time employees that we call in, that we could limit that as well,
Mhm.
correct? Or like, maybe for the rec department, we may not even be able to open all the programs.
Right, and some of the rec department goes hand in hand with the fees, the parking fees and stuff like that we have for beaches and so forth. So if we're charging those fees and opening up the parks and the beaches and so forth, that goes hand in hand. If we're not doing one, then we're not hiring the part-time recs to open them up, or the lifeguards and so forth. So those two, we can kind of almost withhold that spending to take into account that we're not selling those parking passes, let's say. So each one of those things have to be looked at. At some point, the decision's going to be made to open up the parks or not to open up the parks. And when we start selling parking passes, that will fund the part-timers.
So certainly also we could do as much insourcing as possible, less outsourcing
Mhm.
during this
Catherine,
time.
louder, please.
I'm saying we could do more insourcing,
Yes.
within the town, things like, the highway department does our signs, or we have a high-speed printer, and there are different areas where we could do more insourcing and save money on the outsourcing that we normally do.
Yes, and that's why I said the rest of the contractual expenses will be on austerity, and we'll have to look at why we're spending this money. Can we do it cheaper inside? Can we do without it until next year? And things of that nature.
Can you get us an Excel sheet on the 400,000 in positions that are vacant? Because obviously we have to replace the police, otherwise we're gonna end up spending more in overtime. So I'd like to know what the 400,000 equates to in those positions in an Excel sheet, and then also the equipment that you're saying that we could have a $400,000 possible savings in, what that equipment entails also, please. If you have a
Yes, and-
spreadsheet on that.
And neither one of them include the essential employees. The 400,000 in positions does not include police department or PSDs, and the
And the police department has been operating at a very, very low overtime level. And you'll provide all that information
Yes.
to us.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's all I'm
Concerning-
asking, because we recently had 3 police officers that retired, so I wanna know that we're gonna replace those police officers before we replace any of the other people in this $400,000 number.
And that 400,000 did not include police officers or anybody in the police department. That was all non-essential, and the same thing with the equipment.
And concerning part-time, Catherine, concerning part-time employees, as part of the emergency coordination efforts, part-time employees have not, they have not been included in our budget right now. They're not being used.
Right.
And we're gonna continue following that, so that's a good point you brought up.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, they're not part
Well,
of the.
certainly,
the-
wherever possible, we wanna keep our employees that we have.
Okay, absolutely.
Exactly.
That is the last resort.
That would be our-
I
I
want it
do not
known
wanna
that
have to let
that is
people
the
go.
absolute last resort at the moment. These are proactive measures to secure our budget and as we see the full fallout of COVID-19. And we still don't know the extent, there's some numbers going around that our budget may be cut from the state by 20%. That's a tremendous amount, and this is a great start, bringing this up and moving forward. And we look forward to your reports and the board analyzing, and we'll come up with a cohesive plan to move
Well,
forward.
the talk is that the next stimulus package could be for the state, so let's hope that happens.
Oh, that was adopted, that's what I was talking about earlier. The federal bill that was applied to the states under the Municipal Liquid Act only applied to counties and municipalities that were 2 million people, over 2 million people, and
Right,
that was the fierce
yeah.
battle, so now it does apply to Long Island. So hopefully there is some relief. There was someone out there when we were fighting this fierce battle, a senator, not to mention the name, said, let the counties and the municipalities go bankrupt.
Let the states go bankrupt,
Yeah.
I think.
It was
And-
the counties and
yeah.
the municipalities.
Well,
I
yeah,
heard
it was
that
the
too.
counties and the municipalities, and that's what started the rage. And Monday, we got word, and it was a fierce, letter writing, people drove to Washington. There was, advocate groups supporting us. It was a lot of conversation between, all the, county supervisors and mayors, and, including our county executive, who personally spoke to, the Federal Reserve, and, we did get a positive. And it's gonna be a battle for us in coordinating these efforts, and that's what we do. We spent about 80% of our efforts, and the chief can tell you, is not relating to town, unfortunately. It's relating to all these regulations, having legal counsel on it, and at every level of government, federal, state, and local, so, great.
And the state cutting back on Medicare and pushing
Yes.
it off to the counties, which means your
Mhm.
county taxes are gonna go up, and, you know, you're right, Catherine, too, it was also the state, let the states go bankrupt, let the counties
It
and the
was the
towns.
states, but the word is that the next bailout will be for the states, so let's hope that happens, because the state supports, the firemen and the teachers and the police, and, that
Yeah.
budget affects all of those essential services.
And
Well, just
school
on
aid.
on a final note, I would just say that it's good for our citizens and, our constituents to know that we are gonna be proactive, and Bill is, and he's gonna continue to advise us, but at the end of the day, there's really no crystal ball. We don't know. This is unprecedented, but we are going to do everything that we need to do to keep this town running efficiently.
Mhm. And I prefer to call it a sustainability plan, because it's not a bailout. It wasn't because of mismanagement that we're short on the money and that other county and the state is short on the money. It has to do with this COVID-19 specifically. It's not really a bailout, it's a sustainability plan. Because once the economy opens up again, in my opinion, it's gonna be stronger than ever, because we are Americans and we love our local businesses. And I think that everybody's gonna start really, actually, I know I'll be the first one enjoying a meal and a drink in my favorite restaurant. And I'm sure you have yours too, so I think our economy's gonna be stronger once we do open up.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Bill. You got your work cut out.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
waiting for it. When
Yes.
is it gonna be ready?
We're in competent hands with the
Yes.
supervisor, chief, and the chief financial officer at the helm, and all of our great employees.
Okay, moving forward, Devin, can you please read the resolutions?
Sure. So, resolution number 1, limitation on department spending. Number 2, exit incentive for CSEA employees.
Okay, so, can we, is the incentive plan written out yet so that we can go over this? Because, you know, this is contractual, so we should know, we should look at this before we actually adopt it, is all I'm saying.
We will, good. Good point.
Closer to the mic? Okay. Number 3, ratifies acceptance of donation from the Zucker family. Number 4, ratifies acceptance of donation from Polish Town Civic Association. Number 5, authorizes the honorary name designation Heroes Way along portion of Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York. Number 6, approves expenditure of trust and agency account funds and community benefit funds for Town of Riverhead Pattern Book Project by Urban Design Associates. Number 7, ratifies adoption of the
I'm
provisions.
sorry, just on that, can we see the invoices as to what they're charging us to date? Because, you know, we may have to put a pause on that if they're still owed, you know, whatever. I mean, it was such a small amount, but are they billing us in full? I'd like to know the answer to that question. Are they done with the pattern book and their bill, they've sent their final bill?
No, what, I can tell you that they're still working, just to let you know, and the supervisor knows this. They had a, survey ready, there was another survey ready to go probably a month ago, but they held off because it just didn't seem the appropriate time to do that. So they do have another survey ready to go. I know they've been working with CDA, as you guys know, because they helped with some renderings. And, no, their work is continuing, and I don't think this is their final bill. Was it, Bill?
No, they haven't been paid.
Right, they haven't been
At all.
paid
Yeah, right, at all, so we're just moving the
Right.
funds. Bill, you wanna speak on that, then?
I know it's budgeted for, so I don't know, and I think they should be paid for the work that they've done thus far.
Mhm.
But if they haven't done another survey, I'd like to see the percentage of completion of the project as per their proposal, and whether or not we can hold off on that, make sure they're not billing us ahead of time for work that hasn't been done yet, essentially.
I totally agree with you, and that's definitely not happening.
And I don't think that's happening, and they did have the survey ready to go in February, but
Okay.
with all that's going on, it was not appropriate to put something out like that when people's minds are, you know, we're on this illness, but.
And not that I don't trust your opinions, but I just wanna see the numbers.
I'm good with that. Facts matter.
We have not paid anything.
Mhm.
I don't even have an invoice yet, but I know Jeff Murphy knows that they have done some work, so I will ask him to forward us the work. I will ask him to forward us any progress work that they've already done. so
Right,
we have
and
enough.
that was our understanding, we're just moving the money from one fund to another, and then we'll decide how, the board will decide how it's gonna be distributed. But nothing is they're not gonna get full compensation
No.
until we approve and the full project is in effect, so, thank
So,
you.
Just percentage of completion based on the project proposal. Thank you.
Okay, number 7, ratifies adoption of the provisions of Executive Order 20222, suspending Article 5 of the Real Property Tax Law.
So what is this? This is saying that it's going, we're requesting it through June 30th, or?
It's pushing it back 30 days
It's the 31st.
for assessment, yeah.
For, okay, let me just,
The hearing for the grievance would be June 30. The preliminary assessment roll would go back 30 days from the date it would be otherwise due, which would be May 1. So that would be pushed back 30 days. That's a Sunday, so theoretically June 1 would be the date when it would be available to the public.
Want to come to the mic?
Okay, I'll do it from here. I'm being lazy.
just say who you are so people know.
Town Attorney Robert Kozakevich,
Okay.
and with regard to this resolution, what we are doing is adopting the governor's executive order, which was allowed to be done by local option of the town board. We're ratifying it, and what the effect will be essentially threefold. The tentative assessment roll will be pushed back 30 days from the date it would be otherwise due. Final assessment roll will be pushed back 30 days from the date it would otherwise be due. And the grievance day that would have been, I think it's May 19th, whatever that day is now going to be set for June 30th in this room. And hopefully, by that time, maybe people will be able to come in person. We'll see.
Right.
Hopeful, wishful thinking.
Right, and the
But-
grievance cutoff date to apply for the grievance has already passed, correct?
No, because what's gonna happen is everything's gonna get pushed back. The tentative
30
assessment
days.
roll will get filed, then they'll have the right to file their grievance procedure. After that, tentative roll is put out. And if this did not take place, the tentative assessment roll would have been due May 1,
Okay,
all right?
thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
they have until May 1st to grieve if they feel that they,
No, now they're everything's gonna get pushed back. Everything's going to
so
go
what's
back.
the date that they have that they can submit a grievance
I don't know
until?
the actual date off the top of my head. I know that it would be, I think it's in the first 2 weeks or so. So June 1 will be the date that would trigger when a grievance would be, the date when it would start. I don't know what the cutoff date is. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't know that
Okay.
answer.
So
But-
maybe you can find
We
that out.
can get that
and
to
then
you.
can
We
report-
have the
Yeah.
legislation on it.
Yeah, we should get it to the public, that's all.
Okay.
And you will, I'm sure,
We
at our
will.
next town board meeting, you'll let everybody know.
It'll be out.
Okay.
We'll put it
Thank
on
you.
Well, I
our
know that we
website.
were hoping to get something up on the town website
Yes, that's,
now, just to alert anybody who's out there who wants to grieve and participate in the process, that this is happening, so that they're not, concerned. I mean, it's tomorrow, is when the tentative assessment roll would have been otherwise due.
Yep.
All right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
and
ne-
it'll also be it'll be on the general website, and it'll be at the assessors page also.
Okay, very good. And that should go up, we're hoping, immediately? The notification?
Probably by
to vote?
tomorrow, we have the
Okay.
full pantry after that, but that's,
Okay.
that's on the agenda for it
Okay.
to go up.
All right.
There's been discussions on it, so,
Thank you.
yep, absolutely.
Okay, number 8, changes the status of part-time police officers. Number 9, accepts the retirement of planner Karen Gluth. Number 10, appoints a network and systems administrator. Number 11, accepts retirement of Detective Patrick Waskey. Number 12, accepts the retirement of Sergeant Ron Atkinson. Number 13, authorizes notice to bidders, installation of water mains and appurtenances, the Vistas at Bating Hollow, Fox Hill Drive, Riverhead Water District. Number 14, reappoints seasonal pump-out boat operators. Number 15, reappoints a seasonal water treatment plant operator. Number 16, amends resolution number 2020-161. Number 17, extends bid for hydrated lime calcium hydroxide for Riverhead Water District. Number 18, authorizes town supervisor to execute agreement with Cummins, Inc. regarding generator service and maintenance at facilities of the Riverhead Water District. Number 19, authorizes the supervisor to execute lease renewal agreement authorizing the town to lease a vehicle from Suffolk County Office for the Aging for transportation services for elderly residents. Number 20, authorizes the supervisor to execute a memorandum of understanding with Superior Officers Association, Inc. Number 21, authorizes the supervisor to execute an amendment to the license agreement with Launcher, Inc.
What is that?
That's Nick. Bob, do you want to handle that? She's asking about Launcher. Launcher. Page 7.
Yeah, she submitted the resolution. All right, we could continue on, and we could address that when she gets here.
Yeah, I don't know what that one is.
That was a CDA resolution, and so we're gonna have the CDA director speak on that account.
Okay.
Number 22, Hotel Indigo Sewer Extension Capital Improvement Project 20024 budget adjustment. Number 23, authorizes Nunc-Pro-Tunc extension of bid for annual HVAC maintenance contract. Number 24, appoints an engineering aide. Number 25, ratifies acceptance of donation of school supplies from Walmart. 26, ratifies acceptance of donation of $50 gift card from BJ's. Number 27, ratifies acceptance of donation of paper bags from ShopRite. Number 28, authorizes settlement of legal action by Joan Fleischman against the town of Riverhead. 29, authorizes notice to bidders, Sergeant Sewer Lateral Extension Riverhead Sewer District Contract Number RDSD 2001. And 30, authorizes application for funding through the U.S. Department of Transportation Build 2020 grant. So did we want to ask Dawn to speak about?
Yeah, so,
Launcher?
resolution number 21, Dawn, this is put forward by you concerning launcher, and Councilwoman Giglio has asked to further expand on the resolution.
Yeah,
And you
because
have the best insight on it, so, can you
Right.
speak to that account, please?
Because I read that they're moving down to Mississippi or Alabama, somewhere down there, to a space launching facility where they have better suited accommodations for them at a reasonable cost, which is amazing, because they started the launcher rocket company here, but now because of the noise and the environment, they're talking about moving and permanently taking place down south, and that kind of upsets me a little bit. I would like to keep them here. So I just want to know about what this resolution is about, because I do not want to see them leave. If we can get them to stay, I would like the CDA director to work to get them to stay. I mean, launcher is aviation. They are creating rockets that will launch satellites into space, which is in line with what our projection is to do at the EPCAL property, and I would hate to lose this company forever.
Yeah, so I don't think,
No.
Yeah, yeah.
it is
Yeah.
on, yeah, okay. I don't think we're gonna lose them forever. I think they are maybe expanding. I haven't spoken to Max Hout yet. I did read the article. It didn't say that they were leaving New York. Their main office headquarters are in Brooklyn. They like Calverton because it's proximate to Brooklyn. And I know there were some concerns about noise, but I think they kind of addressed those. And they've really been amazing about addressing any issues that we've had or any concerns that the public has had regarding their presence at Calverton. They're looking for a 6-month extension to their license agreement, which we had already, it's expired, but they're on a month-to-month now. They're, as you say, an excellent company. They're the aerospace type. They are technically rocket scientists. They're doing amazing 3D printed rockets.
Right.
And they have young employees, which is great for Long Island and particularly Riverhead. So I think we certainly want them to stay, and my office will do everything possible to get them to stay and expand, hopefully, at Calverton. I know they were very excited about 555, so.
Yeah, so this is good, and I did send you that article from.
Yes, and I did
Space,
read the article, and I have an email out this morning, and I'm going to follow up with Mr. Hout. But he's been great, and he's been very anxious to get this done. So I know they at least want to stay for the next 6 months, and hopefully we'll be able to convince them to stay.
Yeah, we
permanently.
want him to stay.
Yeah.
So whatever that takes, I think we should be focused on that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem.
Okay. Moving forward, can I have a first and a second to go into executive session concerning personnel matters leading to the suspension, dismissal, removal of an employee, then that would be Kazakovich. And that's it. Can I have a first, second, and?
So moved.
Second?
Yes.
All opposed, all in favor, so moved, and
Tim,
everyone be
we'll-
safe.
We'll see you in executive session, Tim.
Okay,
Are you still with us, Tim?
yes.